Okay, let's do one more thing, shall we? We've got time because we have no time limits. So we have time, obviously. And this is for if people want to see the dog. The dog creates more of a stir than anything we ever say or do. I understand. And I promised this at the start of the show. Nick, StrayDogNZ. It's a great Twitter feed. If you're on Twitter, you've got to be following it. Our Prime Minister has no portfolios and yet never seems to have the time to get ahead of what's happening within his government. Here's a thread of the many, and I would say many, times Christopher Luxon has claimed he has been unaware of his coalition government controversies. And the image there, I have absolutely no idea. Number one, Dunedin's mitigated flood risk prevention scheme. Quote, I haven't seen the advice on that and I'm not aware of that, he said, despite his coalition rejecting the offer earlier that year. Number two, where Casey Costello advice on tobacco policy came from. Quote, I have not seen the stories. In fairness, I need to be able to have that before I can have any further comment, which is ironic because he said that again the other day. And we were saying, hang on, I've read them, and Chewy's read them, and the public's read them. But even the other day when they'd been released, he still hadn't read them. That was on RNZ on Monday, I think. Number three, 8 months later, Luxon still hasn't seen the advice Costello used to cut excise tax on heated tobacco products by 50%. Look, quote, look, I haven't seen that advice. Donations from the tobacco industry. Quote, Luxon was asked by Hipkins if he would consider any donation from the tobacco industry to New Zealand First a conflict of interest. The Prime Minister responded by saying he wasn't aware of any donations. We're getting a picture here, people. Number five, Winston Peters getting special treatment to avoid cuts to MFAT. Asked if Peters got special treatment through the budget negotiations, the Prime Minister told staff, quote, not that I'm aware of, no. Number six, how many households would be worse off from his government's tax bracket changes? Quote, I haven't seen the data that you're referencing, end quote, the PM said when asked. 9,000 households would be worse off as a result of his income tax bracket changes. Number seven, how much people get on the job seeker benefit that he introduced sanctions for. Quote, I'll give you a precise number, but I don't know the precise number, end quote. Number eight, Penny Simmons signing off on sudden cuts to respite care for families of disabled people. Quote, Luxon replied that he was unaware of the changes prior to them being made, end quote. Get the history here, guys. Number nine, Ministry of Education rehiring staff as consultants. Quote, consulting firms are now asking some of the MOE staff being made redundant to work for them, essentially doing the same work but at double the price the ministry would have paid. Luxon said, quote, I'm not aware of that. Number 10, allegations of his mentor and close friend John Key's insider trading. Quote, it's not something I'm aware of. I'm unaware of what he's been doing on there. Number 11, abuse in state care report. Luxon fronted the media in Ashburton on Friday, where he conceded that he had not yet read the final report of the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Abuse in State Care and Faith-Based Care. Number 12, National using AI to generate images for campaign acts. Luxon denied using AI, saying, no, National isn't using AI to make ads, not that I'm aware of. A National Party spokesperson said, however, yes, we have used AI to create some stock images. Number 13, former National Minister child sex abuse allegations. Luxon said he was, quote, completely unaware, end quote, of the, quote, very serious allegations, end quote. Number 14, current National MP Sam Uffindale's history of assault. Quote, what emerged last night was a new series of allegations that I was completely unaware of. Number 15, National MP Barbara Kruger's meeting with Agricultural Minister. Luxon said he was not aware MP Barbara Kruger had met with Agriculture Minister Damien O'Connor as part of her son's dispute with MPI. I'm getting a sweat up here. Number 16, who his then likely coalition partner Winston Peters was. This was so funny. Quote, I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't know him, Paddy. I don't know him well. That was glorious. In fact, I think we've got the audio here.
I remember that. It was so good.
It was
I don't know him, Paddy. Leave me alone.
Just so I can rest my voice.
A question about Winston Peters, and it has to be yes or no. Is he good or bad for this country, Chris Hipkins?
Bad. That's a decision for the voters of New Zealand.
Yes or no? Is he good or bad?
I don't know him.
Is he good or bad?
I don't know him, and I don't want to deal with him if I have to, but I have to keep Chris out.
Is he
of
good
this
or
team,
bad? Yes or no? Because you said you will deal with him if you had to.
I don't know him, Paddy. I don't know him well.
Everybody knows him. It's Winston Peters.
How many more have we got to go? Oh my God.
I mean, he's not a politician. He wouldn't know. He was he's in
20.
business. He doesn't know anything about politics. He doesn't know Winston. No one knows.
Number
Winston.
17, how much he made in tax-free capital gains from his investment properties. I have no idea, he told Newsub when asked on how much capital gains he made in total from those 7 properties in the last year. 18, Air New Zealand's contact with the Saudi Navy. Former Air New Zealand CEO Christopher Luxon said he has, quote, no recollection, end quote, of the company's controversial contract with the Saudi military, despite being the boss at the time. Oh, come on, that's the worst fucking one of all. That is the worst of all. Number 19, I think there's only 20 people, so stick with me. How many pension payments are, or that public transport is subsidised? How much pension payments are, or that public transport is subsidised? Public transport can't be subsidised or underwritten, Luxon claims. And I think it's the last one. Oh, thank the good Lord, I think. Yep. Number 20, specific details about his policy. Not only does Luxon repeat the phrase, I'm unaware, quote unquote, or I've not been briefed, or I've not been advised ad nauseum, he regularly gets details wrong. When challenged on one of these errors, Luxon said, whoop-de-woo indeed. Really? There you go. Again, I know we were talking about Mountain Tui tonight, but if you're not following StrayDogNZ on Twitter, you should go and do that now if you're watching us on Twitter. And you can just tell them BHN send you. Should I go look at Mountain Tui? I wonder what they're up to. Hey, it's been a nice show, Emily. Is there anything in the? We should just get these out of the way first of all, because we want to thank people. Thank you, Ella. Out of sight, out of mind. Luxon probably. And Peter says Luxon equals Sergeant Schultz. Oh my gosh, that's such a good reference.